Lisbon, the early 1500s. Standing on the edge of the Atlantic, this city feels less like a capital and more like a threshold. From here, Europe does not end. It opens. Ships crowd the Tagus River, their masts forming a dense forest of wood and rope. Cargo moves constantly between shore and deck. Sailors shout in dozens of accents. Merchants argue over prices. Priests bless departing crews. Lisbon is not quiet. It is not orderly. It is alive with motion. At this moment, Lisbon is one of the most important cities on Earth. Not because of its size alone, but because of its position. Everything that connects Europe to Africa, Asia, and the newly charted Americas seems to pass through here. This is Lisbon, before the earthquake of 1755. Before fire, collapse, and rebuilding reshaped it forever. This is the Lisbon that no longer exists. The Tagus River defines Lisbon's rhythm. Wide, tidal, and navigable far inland, it acts as both harbor and highway. From the water, the city rises in layers. Whitewashed houses climb the hills. Church towers punctuate the skyline. Royal palaces and warehouses sit close to the river, where goods arrive daily. Spices from India, gold from Africa, sugar from Madeira, Brazil wood from the New World. Lisbon's port never truly rests. Ships arrive battered from months at sea. Others prepare to leave, their hulls freshly caulked, sails folded, holds filled with provisions. Everything here depends on timing, wind, and tide. The river is not just infrastructure, it is identity. Lisbon is a city that faces outward toward the ocean. From modern history books, the age of discovery often feels abstract. Names, dates, routes on maps. But here, in Lisbon, it is tangible. You would see navigators returning with sunburned faces and unfamiliar stories. You would hear rumors of distant ports and strange coastlines. You would smell spices most Europeans have never encountered. This is the headquarters of Portugal's maritime empire. The Casa da India, located near the waterfront, controls trade, navigation, and imperial logistics. Maps, logs, and cargo records are guarded carefully. Information itself is a form of power. Lisbon's wealth is visible, but uneven. While merchants and the crown profit enormously, laborers carry heavy loads, sailors sleep crowded into taverns, and enslaved Africans, brought forcibly through this very port, form a significant part of the population. This is a global city, but not an equal one. Away from the docks, Lisbon's streets are narrow and irregular. Medieval in layout, they follow the hills rather than imposing order upon them. Houses lean toward each other across the street. Laundry hangs from windows. Small workshops operate at ground level. Shoemakers, metalworkers, carpenters. The smell of food, smoke, and animals fills the air. Public fountains provide water. Church bells mark time more reliably than clocks. Processions pass through neighborhoods on feast days, filling the streets with sound and movement. This Lisbon is deeply religious. Churches and monasteries dominate both skyline and daily routine. Faith structures the calendar, behavior, and even urban space. Yet alongside devotion, commerce is constant. Markets operate daily. Bargaining is expected. Goods from across the world appear on stalls, often without anyone fully understanding their origin. Lisbon's geography shapes its politics. Built across 7 hills, movement through the city requires effort. Elevation creates separation. From higher ground, the river and port remain visible, a reminder of where wealth flows. The royal palace complex near the river reflects this connection. The monarchy does not hide behind walls far inland. It stays close to trade, diplomacy, and shipping. From here, royal decisions influence distant continents. Orders written in Lisbon affect lives in Africa, Asia, and the Americas months later. Yet the city itself feels fragile. Buildings are tall but narrow. Streets are crowded. Fire is a constant risk. Earthquakes, though not yet catastrophic, are known occurrences. Lisbon thrives, but it rests on unstable ground, both literally and metaphorically. Lisbon in the 1500s is one of Europe's most diverse cities. Merchants from Italy, Flanders, and the Levant mix with local traders. African communities grow, both free and enslaved. Jewish populations, though increasingly persecuted, still leave traces in neighborhoods and commerce. Languages overlap. Customs collide. This diversity fuels Lisbon's energy, but also tension. The Inquisition will soon intensify its presence here, reshaping social life through fear and surveillance. For now, however, the city balances openness with control, curiosity with suspicion. Lisbon is outward-facing, but inwardly anxious. Standing near the waterfront, you would witness constant departures. Ships leaving Lisbon rarely promise return. Families watch from the shore, unsure if they will ever see loved ones again. Monuments and chapels near the port exist for this reason. They mark both hope and loss. For every successful voyage, many more end in silence. The river remembers everything. It carries wealth into the city and carries people away from it. This duality defines Lisbon's character. Prosperity and absence coexist. Lisbon's architecture in the 1500s is a mix of medieval structures and emerging Renaissance influence. Manuline ornamentation, distinctly Portuguese, appears on churches and civic buildings, blending maritime motifs with stone. The city is beautiful but precarious. Buildings rise high to maximize limited space. Foundations vary. Streets are cramped. None of this anticipates what will happen centuries later. No one here imagines the scale of destruction that awaits. From this vantage point, Lisbon seems permanent. The empire is expanding. Trade is flowing. The city is confident. Yet history rarely announces its turning points in advance. The Lisbon of the 1500s does not know that one morning in 1755, the ground will shake violently, that buildings will collapse, that fire will follow, that the river will surge inward. Everything we have just walked through will vanish or transform beyond recognition. What remains today is a reconstruction, not a continuation. When we look at modern Lisbon, we see elegance, light, and resilience. But beneath the streets lies another city, erased in moments. The Lisbon of the 1500s was not frozen in time. It was dynamic, uncertain, and fragile. A city standing at the edge of the known world, unaware that the ground beneath it would one day give way. History often records what survives, but what matters just as much is what disappeared. This was Lisbon before the earthquake, the Lisbon the earth erased. Thank you for being here. And if there's another place you'd like to walk through, let me know in the comments.